Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I want to talk to you today about listening to people's dreams, setting their goals, and helping people achieve real life outcomes. But let me start with who we are. We are Altair, a disability-focused social services accountable care organization. And 5 years ago, I had the privilege of being one of the founding partners with LifeWorks on this innovative group to think about how could we come together, share ideas and our best practices, and improve the overall disability sector by sharing those practices and better coordinating care across our different organizations. Today, Altair has grown to 9 partners and extended to include disability primary care and mental and behavioral health support care. In our effort to scale across our best practices across these partners, we selected a person-centered planning tool called the Life Plan. And the Life Plan was really about assessing a life and then prioritizing that life to figure out what changes you wanted to make and how quickly you could make them and which one to start on first. So that really gets us back to listening. The journey to fully support a person with disabilities starts with listening to them and paying attention to those key areas and key factors that drive a great life for them to live. To be truly person-centered, we must acknowledge how interconnected and different each part of our lives are, and how a change in one area affects it. So if you look at the mobile, you can see if you have one slight change, it affects the balance of the rest of the mobile. And that's how we think about life. The end goal is for people with disabilities to live and work in the community and have healthy lives. The Life Plan, it allows us to assess these key areas: housing, employment, social well-being, physical health, and emotional and behavioral health, and to understand how interconnected they are. It allows us to establish, really, by ranking these, by understanding what's working and not, and ranking them, it helps us to understand a person's quality of life in more of a data term. And as we've heard, data is important in our efforts. And by establishing a baseline, we can see when we put effort towards one of these domains that perhaps we can improve it and see how it affects it. So for example, a person with a disability and their trusted partners and families can go through and talk about these sections and then visualize it by seeing a red. Red means, whoa, something's not good, we need to make a change right away. Or yellow, I want to make a change in the near future, but it's okay right now. Or green, everything's good, I don't need to make changes. And it helps us understand then where do we start with someone to help them get to the life they want and get to a life that's all green or all quality. So if you, for example, if you take someone who's experienced a physical health crisis, it doesn't make sense to talk to them about moving them into a more independent living situation or changing jobs. So these life plans are changing as people live their lives, but we've begun at our ACO with the support of the ACH grant and other SIM grants to facilitate life plans with the people we serve. We hope to serve all of our 7,200 plus people with life plans that the Altair Cross serves, and right now we're in the hundreds. So really it brings forward a new way of thinking that ensures people with intellectual and developmental disabilities have the ability to make informed decisions and self-direct their lives. So a success story, right? An Altair partner facilitated a life plan for a man named Dan. And Dan, he had prioritized housing. He wanted to move out of the group home and into his own apartment. And he knew to do that, he had to get a better job in the community that paid more so they could afford that apartment. But he also has type 2 diabetes. And he was having issues with it. It wasn't being managed well. He was starting to faint. It was affecting the job he did have. So we knew that it didn't make sense to try to get a new job and get an apartment until we had his diabetes under control. So with the help of one of our disability competent physician partners, we worked with Dan to understand his medications, get everything stabilized, get going on it. And after a month, he had that figured out and could work towards that new job. He's gotten a new job. He's now looking for his apartment. So he's to green, and the changes are happening, and he's living the life he wants to do. So think about what we can do to change a person's life, and please join us on this journey. Thank you.